let's do something with application.cfc today. Um, well, application.cfm. Application.cfc came out with ColdFusion 7. The CFM version was before. Anytime that your application runs or gets requested from the server, application.cfc or CFM will fire first. If you want your application to be available to other servers besides like the latest and greatest, or 7 and above, I'd recommend using application.cfm. You can, using an application.cfm file, you can store session things, application variables, things like that. So let's give our application a name, and that's it for now. I mean, there are a bunch of other different things you can do with it, but for right now, we're just going to keep it at that. And I will show you that we can keep things that we'll keep the things in an application variable. Things you would keep in an application variable are like data source, your data source things, your database connection, database username, database password, email things, email addresses for like your main email for your website, your support email address, connection settings to connect to the email server, things like that. But for this tiny snippet, we are going to keep track of a single variable, and I'll show you how to do this. So we'll do application dot counting numbers equals 0, and then in our main page we will output it. So if we go over here, it is 0. And then if we set this to application.counting numbers plus 1, we can increment it. Obviously, since these are application variables, you would not want to store any type of user information in them. Those are more along the lines of a session. You can debug your application stuff. Like I said, application.cfm, it fires before your page content. So if we dump the application scope, we should see it above everything else. There we go. The application name of ask early, counting numbers is current value is 9. So let's say that you let's talk about that, my earlier example. So let's say that you wanted to set your database, right? So you go data source, right? Your data source username, and your password. Obviously, well, not obviously, but yeah, you could have more variables, as many variables as you needed for your application, but you can use it on any page now, right? Let's just dump the application scope on this page. There you go. So we have all those available. You can see that the counting numbers, even though I deleted it, is still alive within the application scope. And that's fine. If we wanted to grab a variable on our About page, we can do that. There it is. So it doesn't matter what page you're on within the application. These variables are application-wide. Application.cfm is a very useful tool. I use it quite extensively. This, of course, is a simple explanation of it, but there are more complex things that you can use with it in creating a complete infrastructure for a application. You can, which we'll get into CFCs down the road. You can store all that stuff within your application as well. So this is just a little insight into application variables and all that. Happy coding.